And I'm going to put that right on top of my cake. I'll center it, but what I want to do is, of course, get eye level with my cake, because this is the point I can fix anything that's uneven on top or anything that's uneven on the side. So when we get eye level and we spin it around, I can see I'm kind of high right over here. Can you see that? You guys are okay? So as I start to frost, I'm going to press down just a little bit, not too hard, on the acrylic disc on my high side. And then I'll take my frosting and start to fill in on this side. What it's going to do is prop up the acrylic disc so it's level with my high side. I fill in the rest of the sides, I smooth it out, and then I cut the disc off after it goes in the freezer again. Does that make sense? And then all of a sudden, our sides are even and we fill on the top. The other thing we're looking for is like a leaning Tower of Pisa moment. Okay? Our cake is leaning, all of a sudden we think in one direction, it looks totally straight, we spin it around, and all of a sudden we're slanted here. So imagine my cake, right, is looking like this, but Gina's like, I know what you mean. That happens to me all the time. I'm like, I'm so good at this, and then I turn it around, I'm like, no, I'm not. None of my layers are straight. It's fine. That's why eye level is so important. But what we would do, if our cake is leaning like this, to offset that, you're going to move your disc over to the left a little bit more. So all of a sudden you have more hanging over this side and less hanging over this side that's slanted. So as we start to fill it in, try to visualize this with me. We fill in our frosting a little bit more down here. So we have a lot down here, less up here, more up here, less down there. Can you see what I'm... So all of a sudden as we start to scrape, we're not relying on where the frosting is. We're relying on our scraper, looking at this and making sure this looks really straight. Okay, and then all of a sudden we have these great sides. So our disc is a guide. We're going to fill in our sides so that it comes from the top all the way down, and we're going to go over this cake board so we don't see that image. Okay, so let's make some magic happen here. Okay, and I'll just gently apply the frosting so it goes just slightly underneath the disc, about 1/4 inch. And we are going to go around the entire top of the cake first to get the disc in place, but I'm not pushing hard on this. So one of the things about the disc right now is that it's going to be really easy to add the frosting later, but if we push too hard now on the disc, it's going to start getting stuck to our crumb coat. The other thing is it'll get stuck if we take too long doing our frosting on the outside, and the crumb coat starts to soften. And you'll see that the disc can be hard to take off. So it's kind of finding the sweet spot. I think your golden time frosting your cake is about 15 to 20 minutes max. I know, you're like, wait, I spent an hour, right? Okay, we gotta get over the OCD thing. But do you know what? Cake baking, cake decorating has helped me. I'm like a total garbuzz. I'm a recovering perfectionist. Has helped me like learn to just walk away from the imperfections. That's when you hear me say, you find your good side and you walk away. In cake class, I come around and I'm like, what are you doing? You know, our students will like be ready to start scraping again. I'm like, no, I'm taking that from you. Because they don't see their good side over here. They're so focused on the bad side right here. And it's like one little spot. They're like, oh, I can fix it. And you're like, no, you're going to mess up something more. Has that happened, right? And you're like, I should have stopped 10 minutes ago. But really, like, I mean, I've ended nights in complete tears over cake before and decorating because of it. And that's not fun. Cake is fun. Cake is happy. So the minute we start crying over cake is when we need to go see a therapist and work on OCD. No, but you do. You just kind of learn to walk away. And you know what? When I used to make cakes for people, I honestly would write front on my cake board. So that if it was at a wedding and I wasn't setting it out, I just looked someone in the eyes. I said, you listen here. This is the front of the cake. And if I see pictures and this wasn't out, I'm coming for you. No. But I would. I'm like, look, this is the front. This is the side I want to take pictures of. But I'm just going to keep adding this frosting. So I'm kind of using, and the reason I made these spatulas was that they're long enough to go down the side of the cake and still touch my acrylic disc. So I've got a guide already as I start to apply my frosting. And I'm going to just get a good first coat of frosting here. And before I even use my scraper, I'm really hoping that my sides are already straight. And then the scraper just ends up being something that will smooth out kind of the roughness of this buttercream. All right, so I'm grabbing this, always have it clean. Coming back to 1 o'clock, and I know it's totally awkward, but I'm like over here, I am watching this. I don't want it to ever look like it's scraper is going to be my guide. It's not resting against the bottom cake board. Now, I'm going around, and there are times, just now, can you see? I don't have as much frosting here. It didn't touch my cake in some places. It did not touch the frosting. Can you see here where I need to fill in? All right? So it's a little bit of this like back and forth spackle job. And I am not pressing hard at all. In class I go around. I'm going to make you all want to come visit rooftops. Okay? Come stay with the riches. And come to cake class. Because what I love is that it's truly hands-on because I make you put your hand on top of mine so you can feel my grip. One of the biggest mistakes I think we're making when we're using a scraper and trying to get really smooth sides on these cakes is that we're holding this really tight. You hold so much tension. We're gonna just relax. And like my grip is barely holding onto this. Super, super light. Okay, you can see like